You don't actually need novelty. Like that new thing that you're chasing, that new hobby, that video idea, that new girl or shiny whatever, you don't actually need it. I honestly, your brain just wants it. Right? And here's the catch: the more you feed that craving, the less productive you actually become. That's the real reason so many of us will feel stuck, unmotivated or inconsistent. I mean, think about it. How many times have you started something, felt excited for like a week or two, then just completely dropped it once the newness, the novelty wore off? Maybe it was a workout routine, journaling or something, or even trying to start a new business. I mean, at the beginning, you're on fire. If you're fucking motivated, you're locked in, you're telling yourself, this time it's different. And then it starts to get repetitive, the routine sets in, and the hype of it all just kind of fades. And your brain starts to tell you, like, yo, maybe we should try something new. This one's getting kind of boring. And well, that's just, that's the brain. It always wants novelty. That's novelty speaking. And well, novelty feels good, right? It's that little hit of dopamine when you start fresh, when you feel like you unlock some secret, shortcut to success and progress. But what people do not realize, though, now, here's where I do want to break this down on a deeper level because, well, this isn't just a rant or anything. This is still neuroscience. I've been thinking a lot about this. But your brain, well, it's wired for novelty. Back in the hunter-gatherer days, novelty literally meant survival. If you discovered a new food source, a new path, a new tool, or something like that, your brain rewards you with dopamine because that new thing could keep you alive, right? Novelty would mean advantage. It meant safety. It meant something that could have been useful to survival. But, fast forward to today, the modern day, your brain hasn't evolved past that wiring. Except now, novelty doesn't just mean survival anymore. It means, new reels, new TikToks, new shows on Netflix, what's on my For You page now, new self-improvement hacks, new girls on IG that you scroll past. It's the same brain chemistry, but applied to things that don't actually move your life forward. And the crazy part is your brain just does not care. It just wants that dopamine hit. And well, this is why so many people are stuck in a cycle of starting and never finishing. You're addicted to novelty, not really making progress. But the truth is, progress isn't novel. It's not something new and bright and shiny. It's always boring, right? It's routine. It's doing the same thing every day when no one's watching, when no one's rooting for you, all that bullshit. When you're not even sure if it's working, honestly. Progress, it hides in repetition. It's boring, it's repetitive, but that is the point. That's how you build mastery, not by chasing novelty, but by embracing rigid routine. You have two guys learning guitar, okay? The first guy, he gets bored easily. He learns a new song every week, but never really fully masters any of them. After about like 6 months, he knows the basics of 10, 15 songs, but he can't really play a single one perfectly or with that much emotion or as musically as a top artist would be able to. The second guy, though, he picks one song, one set of scales, he practices them over and over and over again every single day. After 6 months, he can fuck that shit up. One song flawlessly, and he's built the finger strength, the rhythm, the discipline that will let him master more songs in the future. I mean, who do you think is better off in this situation? The answer is kind of obvious. That's the power of routine. But the problem is most guys will fail at this because routine doesn't feel as exciting as novelty. Let's take a step back for a second, actually. I just realized something. Have you ever noticed how modern life is designed to keep you hooked on novelty? I mean, like, social media platforms are literally engineered to feed your brain newness every few seconds. Scroll, dopamine. Scroll again, dopamine. New clip, new meme, new sound, new face, whatever, right? It's like a slot machine for your brain. And over time, this rewires on a neurochemical level your reward system. And well, what does that mean? It means that the longer you live in this cycle, the harder it actually becomes to sit still and focus on something repetitive. Your brain gets so used to chasing novelty that routine starts to literally feel like torture. This is why people can't sit down to study anymore. Reading the same book every day or grinding through the same workout, it all feels unbearable, and so you quit. Not because you're weak or anything, not because you're lazy, but because your brain has literally been trained to avoid boredom. Now, there is actually a bit of a paradox hidden in this. Routine is where the freedom is. Routine is where the growth is. It's where you stop being average, honestly, and start actually moving towards mastery. Let me explain why. Because When you stop chasing novelty and start leaning into routine, you unlock something called deep work, a flow state, and that is when your brain goes beyond surface level distraction and drops into flow state. Flow is where the magic actually happens. It's where hours will just fly the fuck by when you're completely absorbed and you make real progress and actually put some work in. And flow doesn't come from novelty. It comes from routine and sticking with one thing long enough that your brain can just stop thinking about the newness and start focusing on the actual depth and the substance of the task. And this is why discipline beats motivation every single time. Motivation is just a spike of dopamine. It's novelty in disguise. Discipline is what carries you when novelty fades, and discipline thrives in routine. Now, I feel like some of you might be thinking, okay, but won't life get boring as fuck if I just live in the same routine? That is the funny part. Once you actually embrace routine, you find novelty inside of it. Let's say you hit the gym every day and run the same program, right? At first, it feels repetitive, but then you start to notice small changes. Your form gets cleaner, maybe the weight feels lighter, your endurance improves, you see progress, and that's novelty too, right? But it's meaningful novelty. It's novelty that comes from progress, not from distraction. And I will also add, it's not like you're living the exact same life every single day. It's not like you're repeating like a fucking Groundhog Day type of thing. You're not like living a loop. You can obviously have like a day or two where you go out and have some fun with your friends, go on a date or something, go on a fucking adventure, dude. You can have days like this. Just make sure they don't actually get in the way of your own work. Right? It's the same thing with creative work. If you're a writer, it might feel boring to sit down every morning and write the same way, but over time, you notice your sentences might flow smoother, your vocabulary expands, your ideas become easier to, they come to your mind easier. That's progress disguised as routine. See the difference there? Now, another layer actually is when you embrace routine, you build something that novelty can never give you, which is identity, because novelty makes you scattered, right? One day you're into fitness, the next you're into crypto, day trading, next you're into fucking gaming, next you're doing some YouTube shit. No one knows who you are, not even you at that point, right? But when you commit to routine, when you stick to something long term and you embody and you enjoy it, you start to become that. You're no longer just a guy who goes to the gym, right? You're a gym rat now. You're a guy who lifts. You're no longer someone who just writes. You become a writer, right? There's a difference. And that is how you build a strong sense of self, which is so good for positive reinforcements and making sure that you can actually stay productive and motivated, intrinsically motivated to your tasks. And that sense of self also will give you confidence, clarity, and direction, all that bullshit, right? So, look, I'm not going to lie. It's not easy. Training your brain to resist novelty goes far against how you're wired. You'll be tempted to chase the next shiny thing. You'll feel restless. You'll want to quit, honestly. But that's exactly why most people, 99.9% of people they never get anywhere. Because they cave the second that it gets hard. Simple as that. If you can push past that, if you can embrace routine, lean into boredom, and actually trust the process, that's when life will actually change. This is simple advice, dude. I'm telling you, this is very simple advice that I swear you've had to have heard before, but I hope at least hearing it from me, it sticks in your fucking head. Right? So here's my challenge to you. Just stop looking for the next new thing. Instead, just double down on the thing that you already know that you should be doing. Whether that's working out, building a business, studying, whatever the fuck. Just give it 6 months. Don't switch. Do not quit. Don't chase novelty, just stick the fuck with it. At first, it will feel boring, and then it'll feel natural, and eventually it'll feel, honestly, just unstoppable. Like that, it's momentum. That momentum will carry you through. That's when you realize you never needed novelty, you just needed routine. Novelty is cheap dopamine. Routine is real freedom. That was a good session, I think. I like that one.